Hey, my Zen friends, good to have you back. Week 7. Crazy how quickly this is all gone. Really enjoying doing these videos for you guys. I hope that you're enjoying them as much as I am. And also, I just wanted to say that this week's flow was inspired by my thinking around how potentially stressed out folks might be feeling, even at a subconscious, quieter, low level. Step 1 is to acknowledge that, feel what we need to feel. And step 2, I know that our grandmothers have, told us this our whole lives, but we really need to eat well, move well, and sleep well right now. So this flow is inspired by the importance of moving well. So welcome and enjoy, and I'll see you soon. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's find our grounding to begin. So either sitting upright, nice tall spine, reaching the crown of the head high, hands on our laps. If that's a bit much for your hips, just come on down to your back and pick a variation that feels good to you. You might have your feet as wide as the mat, knees knocking in. Maybe your feet are together, knees falling out. Or the old Shavasana pose is always a nice place to start as well. So lots of options. And wherever you are, just starting to bring our attention to our breath. Just gently closing down our lips and starting to breathe nice deep inhales through our nostrils, filling up our bellies, our lungs, maybe even pausing at the top. And then just as slow, let's exhale it all out, back through our nostrils. Take a few more rounds at your own time, at your own pace. Really envisioning sending as much oxygen as possible all throughout your body, all the way to your toes, to your fingertips, to your ears. Starting to consider what we can relax. Because yoga does involve effort, but it's about strength and softness. So in every pose, we always try to look for ways to make things a little bit easier for ourselves, to soften a little bit more, to not burn up energy unnecessarily. So maybe we might be holding some tension in our shoulders, so maybe consciously consider relaxing your shoulders. Our jawline always seems to house some stuff, so just maybe wiggle it around a little bit and then relax it. Our tongues, the little space between your eyes, that likes to get nice and furrowed frequently, so just let that relax as well. And maybe setting an intention for your class today, considering something that you're going to focus on or dedicate this practice to, or just try to work towards. And that might be staying connected to your breath. It might be adopting a non-judgmental, patient, and kind mindset, accepting when we wobble, encouraging ourselves to get back up. Whatever it may be, just set that intention. And then let's take a nice deep full belly breath all together. Inhaling, filling on up. And then releasing our lips this time and letting it all go. Nice. Wherever you are, let's start to make our way up onto our bums. And then we're just going to come into a cross-legged position, but with our shins parallel to the front of the mat. So inhaling, finding some length in that spine, and then exhaling, starting to drape our hearts forward and walk our hands out in front. And maybe you stay nice and tall and you get a nice stretch through those glutes. You might need a little bit more, so on your inhales, let's find some length. And on your exhales, maybe your heart sinks a little bit further towards the earth. Taking one deep breath on in, full release out. Nice. Walking our hands back towards us, crossing our ankles and just rolling on over the top. We're going to come into our cat-cow. So finding a nice tabletop, nice neutral spine, and at your own pace, dropping our bellies, reaching our hearts forward, inhaling, and then on your exhale, press firm into the earth, all 10 fingers spread, tuck our tails down and under. Beautiful. So inhale, shine our hearts forward. And on your exhale, doming the spine. Now just going at your own pace here, 3 or 4 more times. Maybe finding some movements. Maybe circling your shoulders over your wrists. Waking those guys up. If you went one way, make sure you go the other way. Beautiful. Your hips might drop back towards your heels. Nice. And then let's find our tabletop position, nice and neutral. Tucking those back toes, firmly pressing into the earth, all 10 fingers spread. Inhaling our hips high to the sky, coming into our downward facing dog. So just taking whatever movement you need here. Sometimes stillness really is what your body is asking for. Sometimes you need a little bit more movement, so maybe bending one knee, bending the other. Remember, yoga is most effective and safest when we tap into our intuition and when we check our ego at the door. And we view our teachers as simply guides, as people who are trying to help us practice safely and challenge ourselves, but ultimately, you are your best teacher. And when you're ready, let's inhale, tops of toes, rippling forward, coming into our high plank, shoulders directly over wrists, tailbone tucked down and under, heels reaching back towards the earth, nice strong straight legs. Belly button is pulled back towards our spine, nice dome in our shoulders. And then we're going to come on down to our knees. We're going to shift our shoulders just a little bit over the tops of our wrists, bending our elbows, and we're just going to do 3 mini push-ups. So dropping our heart towards the earth, and then inhaling back up. Let's do that twice more. Dropping down, inhaling up. Exhale down, inhaling up. I've lost count. Let's do one more. Dropping down and up. Nice, guys. Now this time we're going to lower all the way down, keeping those elbows nice and tight into our sides for 3, for 2, for 1. Nice. Untucking those back toes, Placing our hands alongside our chest, coming into our baby cobra. So really firming up those legs, tops of feet pressing into the earth. Knees are just slightly up off of the mat. When you inhale, activating our bellies, our backs, just lifting our chest up off of the earth, not too far. And then exhale, releasing back down. Let's do that twice more. Inhaling on up. Exhale, release. Inhale on up. Maybe we play around with lifting our fingers up off the mat. And release. Nice. Let's tuck those back toes. Strong arms pressing on up to our tabletop and then back to our downward facing dog. Couple of deep breaths here, taking a little bit of movement if you need it. Might feel nice to come onto the tops of your toes, and releasing those heels back down. Nice. And when you're ready, let's inhale that right leg high to the sky. Nice and straight, toes towards our shin. Hips are squared off. And then curling right knee into chest, and just lightly stepping between our hands. Nice. So from here, we're gonna come up to the tops of our fingertips and inhale, dome our spine, drop our head, look back somewhere near that left foot, and really make that left leg nice and long and strong. And then we're gonna exhale, neutral spine, gazing somewhere in front of your mat. Inhale, doming our upper shoulders, nice long, strong back leg. Exhale, neutral spine. Last time, let's find some space between those shoulder blades, releasing neutral spine. Nice, guys. Planting our hands on either side of that right foot, lifting it up and shooting it back towards our left. We're in our high plank, either staying high or coming down to our knees, and we're lowering all the way down to the mat. Untucking toes, popping our hands along our sides, palms up. We're gonna come into our locust pose. So inhaling our chest, our hands up off the mat, and maybe our feet start to float off as well. Thinking about lengthening as much as we are about height. And breathing. For some reason, it's really easy to forget to breathe in this pose. So just make sure you keep the oxygen flowing. Last deep inhale. Let's really shine, really express this pose. Full release down. Nice. Popping our hands alongside our chest. Strong arms, tabletop, transition to downward facing dog. Again, couple of paddle outs. And when you're ready, inhaling left leg high. We're on the toes of that right foot. Remember, our toes on left foot are nice and dorsiflexed towards our shins. Hips are squared off. Really strong straight leg. Beautiful. And then let's start to bring that left knee into our chest, and with control, stepping it between our hands. You might need to just shimmy it on up if it doesn't get there on the first go. Not a problem. And then coming to the tops of our fingertips, let's inhale, dome our spine, nice, strong, straight back leg. Exhale, reaching our crown forward, finding a nice neutral spine. Inhale, dome spine, dropping our head. Exhale, nice and straight. Eye gaze straight down, somewhere in front of your foot. Inhale, last time. Nice, beautiful spread for our shoulder blades, and then releasing to our neutral spine. Nice. Let's frame that left foot with both of our hands, lifting left leg straight back to our high plank. Again, staying high or coming to our knees, lowering all the way down nice and slowly. And then from here, we're gonna come into our locust pose one more time, but this is the full expression of our locust pose. So either you can stay with your hearts lifted, hands elevated, feet up off the mat, and just hang out here and really enjoy this. If you're feeling like you need a little bit more opening, you can bend your knees, reach on back, seek out your ankles, and then press your heels up towards the sky. And really firm your pelvic bone into the mat. Breathing here. For 3, for 2, for 1, full release down. Nice job. Just let your hands fall where they may, left cheek to our mat. Maybe moving those hips left to right just to kind of loosen up that lower back a little bit. Beautiful. And then planting our hands alongside our chest, strong up to our knees, tucking our back toes, hips high, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Finding some movement, maybe not. Inhaling that right leg high. Let's curl on into our chest and step between our hands once again. Now from here, we're gonna work towards straightening that right leg, and it's okay if you have a little bend in it, not a problem, but we're gonna move our right hip back towards our left back foot and move that left hip forward. And if you have blocks on hand, it can feel really nice to use them. You get a little bit more opening in your leg. There's no shame in using blocks. I know that there can be some stigma sometimes around them, but it's all in people's heads. Blocks are awesome. I absolutely love them. Some of my most seasoned teachers are big fans of blocks, so don't be afraid. And if you don't have blocks, you can use anything. You can stack up some books, grab a box of wine, if you're classy like me, just whatever you can find. So let's inhale, finding some length in that spine, tops of our fingertips, and then exhale, release that right leg long, and just allow our hearts to reach towards our thigh. Breathing here. Again, a little bend in that right knee is absolutely not a problem. It's better than locking it out. Nice. And then wherever you are, if you have blocks, just go ahead and move them to the side. If not a problem. We're all gonna take a big step to the front of the mat, left foot next to right. Inhaling, halfway lifting, finding a nice straight spine. And then exhale, folding. Inhale with strength, one vertebra at a time, rolling on up. Shoulders are gonna come up last. Maybe rolling them up by your ears and down your back a couple of times. I'm going to move so you can see what's going on a little easier. Beautiful. And from here, let's take a nice deep inhale, reaching those hands high. Gripping our right wrist with our left hand and exhaling over towards the left. Eye gaze somewhere that feels good for your neck, maybe just under your right armpit. Breathing into that right side body. And then let's inhale back to center. Switching sides. Exhale. Left hand reaches over towards the right. Couple of deep breaths. Staying connected. Inhale back to center. Exhale, forward folding. Hands to earth. Inhale, halfway lifting, straight spine. And then exhale, hands to earth. Stepping on back, going through your flow. So either coming into your cobra. If you're ready for upward facing dog, go ahead and come into that. Let's just remember that it's important that we keep our thighs up off the mat in this pose and our shoulders away from our ears, and super activated legs to protect our lower backs. Wherever you are, we'll step on back and meet in our downward facing dog. One deep breath here. Full exhale. Nice. And then from here, let's inhale that, my mistake. Left leg high, squaring off our hips, knee to chest, stepping between our hands. Now we're coming into our wide-legged fold on this side, either with blocks or without, wherever you're at. Finding some length in that spine. And then on your exhale, dropping our hips back towards the back of the mat, keeping our right hip moving forward and our left hip moving back. Sending breath to the back of that left leg. Nice. One more deep inhale. Full exhale. Moving those blocks to the side. Let's take a big step to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lifting. Exhale, folding. Inhale with strength, rising on up, reaching those fingers high. And then exhale, hands to heart, folding forward all the way down to the earth. Inhale, halfway lifting. Exhale, hands to earth, stepping on back, going through your flow, either cobra, upward facing dog, maybe you prefer to hang out in child's pose for a couple of breaths. We'll eventually meet back in our downward facing dog. Nice. Let's inhale that right leg high once again. Knee towards chest, stepping between our hands. Now we're going to come into our warrior one pose. So swiveling that left foot down about a 45-degree angle. And with strength, we're going to press through that right foot and rise on up. Hands come up and we settle in. You might need to move that right foot forward a little bit to ensure your ankle is not over the top, your knee is not over the top of your ankle, or rather in front of it. We want to make sure it's either aligned or slightly behind. So settling on here, maybe even popping your hands on your hips and feeling how that right hip likes to jump forward in this pose. So just gently encourage it back. At the same time, encourage that left hip forward. And we want to envision grounding through the outer edge of the left foot, like the knife edge that's closest to the back of your mat, and externally rotating that left thigh towards the ceiling. Settling on here. Let's take one more deep breath, inhaling high. And then exhale, hands behind our back, interlacing fingers. Inhale, chest get nice and broad. And then we exhale, humble warrior. So diving forward, connecting our right shoulder to our right knee, and just allowing our head to get heavy here. Thinking about pulling that right bum back. Don't let it stick out too much. Want to stay nice in one line. Beautiful. Releasing the right hands, framing the right foot and stepping on back, going through whatever flow feels good to you. Cobra, upward facing dog, child's pose. Just make it your own. Then we'll meet in our downward facing dog. Inhaling, left leg comes high. Exhale, nose, knee towards nose, stepping between our hands. Now swiveling that right foot towards a 45-degree angle. Really strong legs, pressing through that left foot, rising on up into our warrior one. And again, those hips love to do their own thing. So just popping your hands on your hips and pulling the left hip back, right hip forward. Beautiful. Settling in here. On your inhale, finding some length. And exhale, hands behind our back, interlace fingers. Inhale, heart shine high. Exhale, diving forward, left shoulder to left knee, humble warrior. Deep breaths here, staying connected. One more time, inhaling, full exhale, releasing those hands, framing that left foot, stepping on back, not going through a flow this time. We're just gonna come into our downward facing dog and then walk our hands towards the back of the mat. And we're gonna come into our wide yogi squat. So popping our feet as wide as the mat, elbows on the inside of our knees, hands to our heart center. Really thinking about getting some length here and keeping those shoulders away from our ears. It's such a nice shoulder opening pose, works into our wrists. Folks who sit at computers all day will really be feeling this. I love it. I do this pose daily. I think it really is the WD-40 of our lives. Keeps our joints nice and lubricated. Nice. Now we're gonna pop our hands onto the mat, lift our hips high, and heel toe our feet so they're about hip width distance, maybe even a little bit wider. Hands are out and directly in front of us, tops of our fingers, and we're gonna squat down onto the tops of our toes, allowing our knees to come to the outside of our elbows. And just look up, look forward. And then we're gonna inhale, hips high. Allow our hearts to sink towards our knees. Beautiful. And then exhale down to the earth. Once again, looking forward. Inhale, hips high. Exhale. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhale, hips high. Exhale, squat. Inhale, high. Exhale, squat. I think this is the last one. Inhale, high. Exhale, squat. Really nice job, guys. And then let's just go ahead and settle on to our bums. Reaching our feet out in front of us. A little bit of a shakeout might feel nice. And then popping our feet as wide as our mat and just having a couple windshield wipers left to right, allowing our knees to drop to one side and then the other. Nice, just loosening up our lower spine a little bit. And then from here, we're gonna make our way onto our backs. So lowering on down, reaching our feet straight out, hands above our heads, inhaling, finding some beautiful length in that spine, and then parting our lips and letting it all go. Let's come into our banana. So walking our feet over towards the right, maybe they even come off the mat. Inhale, grabbing our left wrist with our right hand. And on our exhale, seeing if we can deepen a little bit more and move our left arm up and over a little bit more. And if you need more in this pose, you can always pop that left ankle on top of the right, which will intensify the stretch up your left leg. Breathing here. Nice. And starting to make our way back into the middle, shuffling our feet over to the left side of the mat. Reaching our right arm up and over, left hand grips the right wrist, encouraging a beautiful bend. Nice side body stretch up that right arm. Maybe our right ankle connects on top of our left. Deep breath here, full inhales. Complete exhales. And then let's make our way back into the middle. Gripping our knees, pulling them up into our chest. Little rock side to side, knees together or apart. Just focusing on keeping our lower back flush on the earth. Beautiful. And then we're going to come into our air chair, popping our hands out like a T, palms up, and we're gently going to drop our knees over towards the left side of the mat. And they might connect to the earth, they might not. Maybe your left hand connects to the outside of that right knee, and you press into your knee and you press your knee back into your hand. And then when you're ready, let's come back to our center and gently over to the right side. Right hand might connect with that left knee. Inhaling, finding some length in your spine. Exhale, eye gaze might start to shift, looking over towards your left hand. Maybe your neck likes it most when you look straight up. And then gently coming back to center. Coming into our happy baby, so gripping behind the sides of our feet. If you can't quite get there, just grab behind your knees. Maybe a little rock feels good. Perhaps lengthening one leg out to the side feels nice. If you did it on one side, go ahead and do it on the other. Then we'll come back into center and just reach our toes high to the sky. Give them a nice little point, and then flex them back towards your shin. Maybe gripping behind your knees might feel good in this pose. We're gonna point again, flex, point, flex. Nice. And then bringing our knees into our chest, inhaling, shoulders up off of the earth, squeezing everything in. Thank you so much, body, for showing up today, allowing us to move like we do. And full release, Shavasana. Just taking up as much space as you need here. Fully coming into this pose. This really is the best pose out of them all. I encourage you to close down your eyes and just focus on all that amazing energy you've unclogged that's running around your veins, running through your body. Taking some nice deep breaths in, parting our lips and letting it go. And just taking this last minute to reflect on the intention that you may have set at the beginning of our practice. Whether you strayed from it or not, doesn't really matter. Just send yourself some gratitude and love for giving this practice a go and for not worrying too much about what we look like on the outside, but rather focusing more on what we feel like on the inside. And when you're ready, just find some movement in those fingers and toes. Inhaling our hands high above our head, toes towards the front of the mat. And full exhale through the mouth. Then rolling on to whichever side you prefer, using your underarm as a little pillow. Keeping our eyes still closed down. And when you're ready, gently pressing on up into a comfortable seated position. Hands on our knees, maybe cupped in our lap or at our heart center. Let's seal our practice by taking one final full belly breath in, filling everything up. Biggest breath of the day. Pausing at the top, parting our lips, and letting it all go. Thank you guys so much for practicing. Namaste. Really nice job. I know that flow was intense for our old hamstrings, but they love it deep down, I promise you. I'm really enjoying doing this with you guys. Thank you so much for showing up every week and supporting our channel. Please go ahead and hit like, be sure to subscribe, and that little bell thing is awesome because it will notify you when a new video pops up. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Hey, my Zen friends. Good to have you back. Week